I hurt and I miss my baby. I miss my baby.
In this video, we'll discuss the story that occurred on June 28, 2017, in the U.S. state of Pennsylvania.
It all started with a flood of 911 calls, drivers reporting what looked like a single-car accident on a Pennsylvania highway. When officers arrived, they found a Chevy Malibu that had veered off the road. Inside was 18-year-old Bianca Roberson. Tragically, she was already gone, but this wasn't just a crash. It was something far more disturbing. Bianca Nicole Roberson was born on October 17, 1998, in Pennsylvania. She was the definition of driven. A straight-A student, a proud member of the Black Student Union, and a constant name on the honor roll at Bayard Rustin High School in Westchester. Her future looked incredibly bright. Bianca had earned a prestigious 4-year merit scholarship to Jacksonville University in Florida, where she planned to study criminal justice with hopes of becoming a forensic agent for the FBI. But her talents didn't end with academics. Bianca had done it all. She was a Girl Scout, a cheerleader, and a basketball player. She took music lessons for the flute, violin, clarinet, and guitar. And she was an artist with a passion for creating. She lived with her mother and maternal grandmother, Josephine Perry, and was excited to begin her next chapter: college life, independence, and chasing her dreams. Her mother heartbreakingly recalled, "Unfortunately, all her plans collapsed." On June 28, 2017, just weeks before she was set to leave for college, Bianca, her mother, and grandmother were shopping at Walmart. After picking up dorm essentials, they each got into separate cars to head home. Bianca had a short 10-mile drive ahead, a route she knew well. But just minutes after she left the parking lot, something terrible happened. Eyewitnesses reported a crash. First responders rushed to the scene. Bianca's car had run off the road. She was the only one in the vehicle, and she was pronounced dead at the scene. Her promising life cut short, and a closer look would soon reveal this wasn't just a tragic accident. At first, it looked like Bianca Roberson had died in a tragic accident. Her car had veered off the road, and the head trauma pointed to a violent crash. Drivers on the highway pulled over, concerned, even before emergency responders arrived. But when police spoke to eyewitnesses, one chilling detail emerged. A red pickup truck had collided with Bianca's car, forcing her off the road, and then sped away without stopping. Meanwhile, her grandmother, Josephine, was unknowingly driving past the crash site on her way home, stuck in traffic. She whispered to herself, "I hope that's not Bianca," never imagining the traffic jam was caused by her granddaughter's fatal wreck. When she arrived home, 2 officers were waiting on the porch to deliver the devastating news. Bianca's mother, Michelle, a nurse from Delaware County, was shattered. "Losing a child is every parent's worst nightmare," she said. "I never imagined it would happen to me." Bianca was her second child. Her first, Michael James Rowley, died in 2013 from a heart condition at age 22. "Now I've lost both," Michelle said through tears. "I don't even know who I am anymore. I'm just existing. They were my breath, my reason to wake up. And now I'm a mother with no children." After her 2006 divorce from Rodney Robertson, Bianca had become the glue between her parents. "Our split wasn't pretty," Rodney admitted. "But Bianca, she put me in my place when I disrespected her mum. Her love brought us peace." Rodney smiled sadly, remembering his little girl. "If I had a favorite, Bianca was it. More than just looking forward to college life, Bianca Roberson was chasing a dream. Her parents said she was thrilled, not just to be on her own, but to finally take her first step toward becoming a forensic specialist for the FBI. "She had her eyes on the future, and nothing could stop her," said her father proudly. Bianca had earned a 4-year merit scholarship to Jacksonville University, one of 4 schools she applied to, and one of 3 that accepted her, including Coastal Carolina and the University of Georgia. Detectives began digging into the crash. They pulled surveillance footage to confirm reports that Bianca's Chevy Malibu was forced off the road by a red pickup truck. If another car had caused the crash, it wasn't just a tragic accident, it could be a crime. But what investigators discovered next was far more chilling. As they waited for the footage, a bombshell arrived. The autopsy report. Bianca hadn't died from the impact of the crash. Forensic experts found a bullet lodged in her skull. The truth hit like a shockwave. What first appeared to be a fatal car accident was now a homicide. Bianca Roberson had been shot in the head while driving. The investigators brought this devastating news to Bianca's family. Her mother, Michelle, was stunned. "Why would anyone do something like this to her?" she asked, overwhelmed with disbelief. Bianca wasn't in trouble, didn't have enemies, and was kind to everyone. Her family was left reeling, desperate for answers. Detectives combed through footage from the Walmart Bianca had visited that day, but found nothing out of the ordinary. The hunt for the killer had just begun.
They analyzed their every move from when Bianca and her family exited their cars to when they left the parking lot. The detectives ruled out the version that someone who was at Walmart could have chased Bianca and then fired a fatal shot at her. After all, while at Walmart, she did not quarrel with anyone. They just bought everything they needed, loaded everything into Bianca's car, and left.
What happened on that highway may have been the key to understanding why Bianca Roberson never made it home. "We had loaded all the shopping bags into Bianca's car," her mother, Michelle, recalled. The 2009 Chevy Malibu had been a Sweet 16 gift bought from CarMax. She didn't ask for much, but when she did, she dreamed big, Michelle said. She picked out that car herself the day she got her permit, and she got everything she ever wanted. I don't call it spoiled, I call it loved. Yow, but Bianca was never one to expect handouts. At just 15, she got her first job working at McDonald's. Only 2 weeks in, she landed a more meaningful role as a dietary aide at White Horse Village, a retirement community in Delaware County. "I still have a stack of letters and cards from the residents who adored her," her mother said. Bianca made an impression everywhere she went. Soon, the police reviewed nearby traffic camera footage. While there were no cameras at the exact location where Bianca's car veered off the road, one camera about a mile away captured a crucial piece of the puzzle. Investigators watched closely, and what they saw confirmed it. Bianca had encountered a conflict with the driver of a red pickup truck shortly before her death.
The footage showed their cars driving side by side. Here, they were approaching the place where the two lanes merge into one.
Investigators believed the deadly conflict may have started over something as simple as neither driver willing to yield. Given how things ended, they suspected the driver of the red pickup truck may have pulled the trigger. Unfortunately, the surveillance footage wasn't much help. It was too blurry to read the license plate or identify the driver's face. Despite the limited evidence, the driver of the red pickup instantly became the prime and only suspect in the case. Detectives needed to uncover his identity, but all they had was a grainy image. Bianca's family had no idea who drove such a vehicle. Police circled back to interview witnesses and 911 callers again, but no one had seen the license plate. Support began pouring in from all directions: friends, strangers, young people, seniors. At a candlelight vigil held 2 days after her death, former teachers came forward. One told Michelle, "Bianca changed how I teach." Another described her as the type of person who would secretly bring home a classmate who'd been kicked out of their house. When I asked her why, Michelle recalled, she'd say, "Mom, wouldn't you want someone to do the same for me?" Bianca once asked to stop the car to help a stranger after an accident. If she spotted someone dining alone, she'd invite them to join the family. Investigators kept analyzing footage from nearby areas. Though no camera caught the moment of the crash, they were able to track the direction the red pickup drove after the incident. It had turned onto Powley Pike. Police canvassed homes and businesses in the area, searching for additional surveillance. Eventually, they struck gold. One camera captured a clear image of the truck, possibly revealing the brand, model, and, most importantly, the license plate.
While analyzing the recording, detectives saw a red pickup truck driving along the road about 5 minutes after witnesses called 911 and reported an accident involving Bianca's car. Yet it was not possible to see the license plate. Moreover, it was unclear whether it was the same car or another one that fit the description.
As investigators continued combing through surveillance footage and knocking on doors, a major break in the case suddenly emerged. Just 2 days after the incident, a woman came forward with a game-changing tip. She told police she had not only seen the red pickup truck they were searching for, but she had also gotten a good look at the driver's face. According to her, the truck had sped past her before coming to a stop at the intersection of Powley Pike, then made a left turn. Her statement was a turning point. With this eyewitness account, detectives were finally able to narrow their search, focusing on a smaller area and bringing them one step closer to finding the person responsible for Bianca's death.
Moreover, it meant that the pickup truck from this footage wasn't the car they were looking for. It was just a similarly looking truck.
Thanks to the tip, the woman who had seen the red pickup truck worked with a forensic artist to produce a sketch of the suspect. She described him as a white male between 25 and 35 years old, with brown hair and a light stubble. Police released the sketch to the public, hoping someone would recognize the man and come forward. They also shared it with Bianca's family, but no one in the family knew anyone who resembled the image. As investigators dug deeper, they began to consider the unsettling possibility that Bianca's death may have been motivated by hate. Now that they knew the red truck had turned left at the intersection, detectives canvassed homes and businesses along that route, searching for clearer footage that could help crack the case. Not long after, they struck gold. Less than half a mile from the intersection, a homeowner had a security camera pointed directly at his driveway. When police reviewed the footage around the estimated time the truck would have passed by, there it was, the red pickup truck they'd been hunting.
Although the footage had better quality than the previous one, its angle of view prevented the law enforcement officers from identifying the car or the driver.
The police poured their energy into locating a surveillance camera that had caught the red pickup truck from a closer range, and this time, luck was on their side. While the license plate still wasn't visible, the new footage revealed several distinctive features of the vehicle that could help narrow down the search.
The car had a sticker on the right side window, a vertical dent on the passenger door, and damage to the hood. These distinctive features could greatly simplify the search for this car.
Hoping to accelerate the investigation, the police turned to the public for help by going through the media. They announced a $5,000 reward for any information that could lead them to the red pickup truck or its driver. Investigators were confident. Someone out there had to recognize the vehicle's unique features. Then, just 3 days after Bianca Roberson's tragic death, a call came into the police station. It was a lawyer saying he represented a client who wanted to come forward. His client, he said, was involved in the incident that led to the death of 18-year-old Bianca Roberson.
This incident happened this past Wednesday at approximately 5:30 p.m. Bianca Roberson, 18 years old, recently graduated from Westchester Ruston High School, on her way to Jacksonville University. Her whole summer in front of her whole life in front of her, a loving family. She was driving down Route 100. Route 100 is a two-lane highway. The Route 100 spur, just a couple miles from here, and it merges into Route 202. And where it merges, it goes from 2 lanes down to 1. That's the same merge that people in the southeastern Pennsylvania make thousands of times every day. All across the region, people do that without problem. But last Wednesday, as Bianca was merging down from 2 lanes to 1, there was a man in a red pickup truck also merging down. And they jockeyed for position. And he wasn't happy. So he pulled out a gun and shot Bianca in the head.
The driver of the red pickup truck was identified as 28-year-old David Desper from Pennsylvania. Accompanied by his lawyer, Desper walked into the police station and turned himself in. Though he declined to give a statement, he allowed authorities to search his home and disclosed the location of his vehicle. Police quickly arrested him and charged him with the murder of Bianca Roberson. At the location Desper had indicated, investigators found the red pickup truck. The stickers on the windows, distinctive rims, and body damage all matched the description. A search of his home uncovered a handgun, the same weapon used to fatally shoot Bianca in the head. Though the evidence was clear, the motive remained a mystery. On July 7th, more than 800 mourners, family members, friends, and community members gathered at St. Paul's Baptist Church in Westchester, just 25 miles outside Philadelphia, to honor Bianca's life. A banner in the church reminded all of the values she embodied: patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, self-control. Speakers included her brothers, school officials from Bayard Rustin High, where Bianca had just graduated, a representative from Jacksonville University, where she planned to attend in the fall, and many of her friends. Each painted the picture of a young woman who was not only intelligent, but full of compassion and promise. Delivering the eulogy, Pastor Wayne Croft Sr. compared Bianca's killer to George Zimmerman and Michael Dunn, men who became symbols of racially charged violence in America. Whether Bianca's death was caused by road rage or racial hatred, the grief felt by the black community was the same. "What we know for sure," the pastor said, "is that we've lost another brilliant young black star. Another good sister is gone." At David Desper's trial in September 2018, the question on everyone's mind was simple: why? But when asked about his motive, Desper didn't give an answer. Instead, he turned to the Roberson family and asked for forgiveness. For Bianca's parents, Rodney and Michelle, the idea of facing the man who killed their daughter was something they had been dreading. As family and friends gathered at the Chester County Government Services Center, many wore T-shirts printed with Bianca's smiling face. They wore bracelets engraved with the words, "Bianca Roberson, a rose in God's garden," and stood under a banner that demanded justice for Bianca Nicole Roberson, who was murdered on Wednesday, June 28, 2017. "I don't know what I'll do when I see him. This man who pulled the trigger and took my baby girl," Rodney admitted. "I just know I'm not going to do anything stupid." Michelle, Bianca's mother, broke down. "He stole her dreams. He didn't have that right," she cried. "I need to get her back. I need to comfort her. I'm her mom, and I can't do any of that. But he's still here. He gets to talk to his parents. He gets to hug them. He's 28. She was just 18. A baby." Prosecutors believe the deadly encounter began as a road rage incident. Bianca didn't yield when two lanes merged into one. Desper, angry, rolled down his passenger window and fired a single shot, hitting Bianca in the head. Then he fled. He left his pickup truck with a friend in Pennsylvania and tried to escape to Delaware. But as his sketch and the distinctive red truck flooded the media, Desper lawyered up and turned himself in. The police scoured his social media and interviewed people close to him, but found no evidence that the act was racially motivated. As a result, Desper was not charged with a hate crime. "There was no indication that this was a race or hate crime," said District Attorney Tom Hogan. Still, many in the community strongly disagreed. In court, Desper's defense team described him as harmless, calling him an overgrown kid who loved working on cars. They argued that he wasn't a threat and emphasized that he turned himself in voluntarily. They claimed the shooting happened after Bianca's car startled him. But prosecutor Chris Miller wasn't buying it. A 28-year-old man driving around with a loaded gun isn't a big kid. He's a danger. There's no innocence in pulling a trigger on the highway and killing an unarmed teenager. In a heartbreaking twist, it was David Desper's own mother who unknowingly shared a Facebook post about the manhunt for Bianca Roberson's killer, only to later discover that the suspect was her own son. Through tears, Wendy Desper expressed her grief and sympathy. "I'm sorry for what my son did. I pray for Bianca's family every day." In court, Bianca's father, Rodney Roberson, fought through his tears as he confronted his daughter's killer. "Why? Why did you shoot my daughter? Because she was young? Because she was black? Because she was a girl? Because you wanted to go first on the road? Because you were having a bad day?" His voice broke as he continued, "All my dreams for Bianca were coming true, until the day the defendant murdered my daughter. Now, all I have left are memories. David Desper pleaded guilty to third-degree murder, deprivation of life. He was sentenced to 40 years in prison with the possibility of parole after 20. It was the maximum sentence for the charge. Judge Anne-Marie Wheatcraft held back tears as she delivered the ruling. "I don't believe you were afraid. I believe you were angry." Desper would later try to appeal the sentence, but the appeal was denied. And ultimately, David Desper died in prison. That brings us to the end of this tragic story. If this episode moved you, please like, share, and subscribe. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you next time.